What is up? What is up? Welcome to For Better or Worse. My name is Nick, joined again by my co-host Matt.
Yes, sir.
Thursday Night Football. We got MLB playoffs, and I got a college football play for Friday. So we got a little bit of everything for any kind of viewer. Thanks again, once again, for joining us. Like, retweet, help us out there. If you can go ahead and do that now, that would help us out a bunch. But thanks again for joining us. Matt, are you excited for MLB playoffs? I know you've been, just talking about it since forever.
God knows when. No, I'm excited. I do want to clear the air, and I wanted to say this on the podcast because I think it's important to know. So, as we all know, the Mets did not win the NL East. But people are overreacting. And just like Nick, because Nick will say something because that's what people do. That's what I would say if I was a Nationals fan or that was my nearest fan group. But either way,
I don't know. You can't make fun of me.
I've seen Mets collapses my whole life. All right, my whole entire life. Nick is watching a live stream of a game right now. But I've seen Mets collapses my entire life, some pretty bad ones. Winning 101 games and just losing the division to a Braves team that won the World Series last year, got better this year, and went 77-33 since June 1st is not a collapse. Would have been nicer to win the division? Absolutely. But I'm not going to throw a fit and freak out that the Braves just won 101 games as well, or 102 games, whatever the final number was. They're a 100-win team. Only like 3 teams won 100 games, 4 teams. It was the Dodgers, the Astros, the Mets, and the Braves.
It seems like a lot of justification for second place. That's Devil's Advocate.
At the end of the day, if you win the division, you don't win the World Series. Like both teams have to play the playoffs. So I don't really see what the issue is.
Devil's Advocate. That's all.
I understand Nick doesn't understand a lot of sports scenarios, and I'm now rooting for his bet to lose. I'm also watching, so I'll update you.
Don't you do that
as it goes. But either way, I'm here to talk to you guys about the MLB playoffs. I'm excited for the Mets to be there. I think the Padres matchup is good. I do think the Braves series before the playoffs was good as well because it was a wake-up call. They're the defending champions. They showed you what it takes to play playoff-style baseball, and it was a wake-up call I think the Mets desperately needed. I don't think the San Diego Padres are ready for this cold New York weather and this rainy weather in a 3-game series on the road. So I do think the Mets will win. And then the Mets-Dodgers series will be a good one. So I'm excited for the playoffs. I think there's only about 2 teams in the American League who can win, and that's the Astros for sure and maybe the Yankees if I had to pick a second team. But the AL is very weak and the NL is very tough. So it should be good to see what's going to happen in the NL, but I'm excited. I do want to talk about some wild card predictions. You have Phillies, Cardinals, Mets, Padres, Rays, Guardians, and Blue Jays, Mariners. All are very, very exciting baseball teams to watch. I'm excited for this new playoff format. I'm excited for playoff baseball to finally be here. If you've never watched playoff baseball before, please give this a shot because every pitch kind of matters. Every inning matters. It's actually interesting to watch from start to finish rather than the regular season. So you're going to see a lot of nice chess matches, some crazy highlights, and it should be a good one. I do like the Guardians to beat the Rays in the first round. It's a tough matchup because the Rays have the playoff experience. They've been there for the past couple of years. Even though they have a lot of young players, they have that playoff experience like veterans already. Rosarena was a playoff stud a couple of years ago. What was that?
Do they have Cal Quadrille?
They do have Cal Quantrill at home. He hasn't lost a home start in whatever that number is. But the kicker for me is that the Rays are the worst playoff team on the road, and they play all 3 games on the road in Cleveland. They're 35-46 on the road. You just can't trust that. They don't have home field advantage at all. And I just think that's just a recipe for disaster. I think the Guardians hold it down. The Rays aren't good enough to survive on the road. That's why the home wildcard teams, it's such a big difference because it's 3 straight games at home. The away teams don't even get to go back home and play.
Yeah.
They have to win one. They have to win 2 out of 3 games on the road. So
I
that's
was
why.
gonna,
What is it?
I was gonna say, why don't you explain kind of the wild card format for someone that maybe is new to MLB or just a casual?
So it's the new format this year to expand the teams. There's now 2 teams that get a bye in the NL and 2 teams that get a bye in the AL. The
2
2 teams
teams
that
of
got
those.
buys are the Dodgers and the Braves, and the
So the
Astros and the Yankees.
Braves got a bye.
They
Does
do.
that mean if the Mets beat the Braves, they would have had the bye?
That's true.
Okay.
But I also think there's an advantage of playing in the wild card round. I'm not just saying that as a Mets fan, because when you stop playing, the reason why the Braves have been on such a tear is that they've been playing constantly. When you go these 3 days, 4 days without playing, it could cool off. I'm not saying it will, but I'm not. I don't think the wild card round is so bad unless you're on the road. If you're home for the 3 games, all these teams cruise at home. And for the Padres that the Mets got, they're used to San Diego now playing in cold New York weather in October, and you got to face DeGrom and Scherzer. I don't see the issue there. The hardest series is going to be for the Mets against the Dodgers, but the wild card round, I do like the Guardians, and that's really the only one I'd bet as a flat out. Like if I was going to bet a series to win, I would bet the Guardians like -120, -130 in most books. And for a home team, all 3 games, that's a very good price. I'm not going to bet the other series. I think it's, too much of outliers, but I would definitely give the advantage to the home teams in every scenario. And it should get interesting in the next round. So
yeah, it's a whole rust versus rest debate that everybody has. What's more beneficial?
So the series where it screws you is that second series. So the Mets and Padres, the winner actually plays the Dodgers. And DeGrom and Scherzer, or DeGrom, will only be able to pitch 1 game in that series instead of 2. That's where it hurts you. But by the time they play the NLCS and World Series, they should be able to figure out their rotation and adjust from it. But for now, that's what we're going to do. So the World Series matchup, I wanted to talk about this. We did this World Series matchup way earlier, like a couple months ago, and I had the Astros versus the Mets. I'm actually not going to change my decision. I will say I think the Astros clear the AL with ease. The NL, I think the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Mets are the teams to beat. The only reason I don't think the Braves win isn't even very analytical. I just think it's so hard to repeat that, it's just the odds really aren't in your favor. If the Phillies beat the Cardinals, they have to play NL East rivals again, and then play the Mets or the Dodgers. And if they beat them, they have to play probably the Astros. I just don't think I think it's so hard to win the World Series twice in a row. It's one of the harder sports to kind of go on long runs. The season's very long. Nothing against the Braves. The Braves are a fantastic team. They're a top 3, top 4 team in the league, and they've shown it. I'm not a Braves hater. They're a fantastic team, but it's just so hard to do that again. And that's why I probably wouldn't bet them to do it again. But especially with their value now. If you have Braves bets from before they won the division, ride those out, of course. But now the value is gone. The value is probably on the Mets now at 9-1, just because their value dropped losing the bye. But I do want to talk about some value teams, and it's going to scare a lot of people. People are going to either think this is really stupid, or I don't even know what they're going to say. Phillies fans are going to be happy, though. And I like the value on the Phillies because they fired Joe Girardi. They fixed everything else. They did what they need to do. Bryce Harper was hurt. They held their ground, and they're now 25-1 on DraftKings. You can find out what it is on FanDuel, but you're getting a playoff team at 25-1, maybe even more on another book. I honestly haven't looked yet, but they have dominant pitching with at least 2 guys, Nola and Wheeler, and can get some production from maybe Syndergaard or Kyle Gibson. And if they get Syndergaard or Gibson to step up, they're a very dangerous team. But especially in this 3-game series against the Phillies, against the Cardinals, Nola and Wheeler, even though they're on the road, it's going to be tough to beat them because Nola is an absolute stud. especially come playoff time. He should be able to get it done for them. And the Phillies are just a scary team. They're actually 30-1 on FanDuel. So if you go on FanDuel, the Phillies are 30-1, and they can hit home runs. You know, they have Schwarber, Harper, Hoskins. They play really bad defense. That's really the only knock on them. Their bullpens, their bullpen is also not good, but they can hit the ball out of the park a lot, and that's what you're going to need to do to win some World Series. They have decent starting pitching with guys who could turn up. So if you get some guys who take a little bit of a leap, that's a scary team. And I do think that they get the bonus of playing the Braves and the Mets all year long that the Cardinals didn't. So the Cardinals division has been so bad that I think the Phillies have the advantage of playing these close series against the Braves, close series against the Mets. They've played tougher teams where the Cardinals have just kind of coasted by the Brewers and the Pirates. You know, it's just like the Cubs were good towards the end of the year, kind of, but they're still not a good team. So my value team is the Phillies at 30-1, and that's my baseball rant. Again, excited for the playoffs. I may go to the game on Saturday, so check me out there. But yeah, I'm excited for playoff baseball. If you haven't watched it, please do. It's a good time.
Yeah. You know what else is a good time? Watching this UCF game right now. I'll tell you, I couldn't stand up at this point. It would be inappropriate to see watching this game. I mean, fantastic stuff. Nonetheless, are you done talking about baseball? I know it is playoff baseball. It is exciting, guys. It is exciting. But college football, I'm taking over 2-unit play. 2-unit play.
If I had glasses, I would put them on.
It's Nevada -3.5. You have to fade one of the worst teams in college football. There's Colorado and Colorado State. I don't know what's going on with that state, but those are the two worst teams in college football, just bar none. First of all, they're 0-4, so they haven't won a game, which is, and then, Nick, that's not that bad. A lot of teams are 0-4. Okay. They've given up an average of 41 points against while scoring a little over 10 points a game on offense. But the most important thing is they're 0-4 against the spread. 0-4 against the spread. The most recent one was last game. Oh, Lordy. I'm trying to remember.
I have the real analysis right here. Nevada spelled backwards is Ativan, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Sacramento State was a 3.5-point favorite. They won 41-10. This team, you have to get on them early and make them quit, okay? Because this is that point in the season where it's like, all right, are we really going to go 0-12? Well, you get up on them early and you just start smacking that ass and they'll quit real quick.
Wait, are we talking about Nevada still?
I don't know. A lot of stuff's going on. A lot of emotions, blood's flowing different places. I don't know anymore. Nonetheless, Colorado State has a bunch of injuries, especially on their offensive line. They give up. They're just awful. I mean, they're bad on defense. They're bad on offense. They are literally like the worst team in college football. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I say that a lot. It's Colorado State and Colorado. They're fighting it out. Worst team in all of NCAA. The -3.5. Nevada is 2-3. After winning 2 games, they dropped 3 straight. They don't look that great. It is at home in Nevada. It's a perfect bounce back opportunity for them to get on track. Colorado State, I mean, I'd feel a little concerned, but with all these injuries that's happening, that offensive line is just literally put together. They're getting destroyed. They're getting absolutely destroyed. And we saw that last week with them being, again, the line was 3.5, just like today. They lost 41-10 versus Sacramento State, which is a worse team than Nevada. In my opinion, they are 3-0 overall, but it's just they're just not as good a team as Nevada. It's just not going to go well, dude. This is not going to go well for Colorado State. That's all I got. I mean, there's so many injuries. I can't even get a full list. The sucky part about picking these bad teams is nobody wants to write about them. Nobody wants to put out news on them. They're trying to act like they don't exist. So you really got to dive in and find those small-time reporters, those local college guys and stuff like that to try to get some of the information. But Colorado and Colorado State, keep a lookout all season. They are bad. They are really, really bad. 2 units. Nevada -3.5. Back to winning form. And a beautiful Friday play. Article will be coming out soon with some more in-depth analysis and information. So go ahead, please check that out, guys. I try to put out information here a little bit earlier so you guys get a head start, but those views are important. At the end of the day, views are important. So go ahead and give it a read. Let me know what you think. Nevada -3.5 for 2 units.
Boom.
A lot of rambling, but you get the point. Let's
Now
talk about
we're
Thursday
done.
night football.
Yeah.
Thursday night football.
Now we're done with the little kids who play. It's time for the big boys. It's time for the big boys.
I would disagree, but I just talked about 2 of the worst teams in college football. So they're basically elite high school team, if that. Nonetheless.
All right, so it's the Colts and the Broncos. For those of you guys who don't know what a colt is, it is a young, uncastrated male horse. In particular, one less than 4 years old. And if you don't know what a Bronco actually is, it is a wide or half-tame horse of the Western United States. Who's gonna win? I don't know. I'm gonna go with not the 4-year-old, probably. That's all the analysis you need.
Yeah.
Huh?
I kind of like the Colts, but I haven't done a lot of NFL nor been that good. I mean, about 500, which is not good in betting. Kind of like the Colts here, even with Jonathan Taylor out. I mean, after fading them, what was it last week? The week before? Week before. When did I come up? Week before.
They lost. They beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what turned my eyes a little bit.
Then they got rocked by the Titans.
Yeah, and
they're actually 1-2-1, and their only win was against the Chiefs. Take that as you will. The Broncos are 2-2. Russell Wilson, as long as he's not chefing stuff up, they should be fine.
How do they beat the 49ers? That game is just
that was like a weird primetime game. So
it's such a weird game.
It should be tough with the Jonathan Taylor news. Hines should get up. Philip Lindsay, who played for the Broncos last year, I believe, or maybe the year before. He's a revenge game against the Broncos. People are already talking about it, doing whatever they want to do. Looking at defensively and offensively, again, take the offensively with a grain of salt for the Colts because Jonathan Taylor's out. But guess what? Even with Jonathan Taylor in the first 4 weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, try and guess what run offense the Colts have with Jonathan Taylor. Try and guess what their run offense is ranked.
It's got. I honestly don't know. I feel like it's got to be top 5 because the fact that they put up any points with Matt Ryan behind quarterback, it wasn't good. It's got to be up there. I went to
go do my research and say the same thing. It's last.
Oh, okay.
It is last.
You set it up to be a trick. Okay.
I did. But I'm saying I thought the same thing doing this. Like, I'm not gonna take, Jonathan Taylor's Colts run offense because Jonathan Taylor's now out. He's kind of his own breed, yada yada yada. The Colts are the 32nd best run offense according to DVOA, and they have the 30th ranked pass defense. So their offense is absolutely atrocious. And their defense is good on the run. They're the second best run defense in the league.
Yeah.
But their pass defense is 27th. So you got to think that Russell Wilson and the Broncos are going to try to throw the ball downfield and try to win this game. Do we trust Russell Wilson in primetime? How many primetime games does this guy have, first of all? This has got to be the third.
I mean, they're trying. It is.
It's the third primetime game in 5 weeks.
They played the Seahawks.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's absurd. I'm tired of seeing him on primetime, but either way, they should have thrown him a lot. I do have a prop lean that I'm going to talk about that I also think once this video is done recording, I'm going to post it anyway, which is usually what happens after I convince myself. But my prop lean is Melvin Gordon over 11.5 reception yards or receiving yards. And this is because the line is 11.5 on FanDuel at -113. You have a 12.5 on most other books and or juiced 12.5. You have 11.5 -113. And the reason being is because I'm going to run through this on my handy dandy notebook. In week 1, the Colts let Rex Burkhead get 5 catches for 30 yards. Week 2 was the Jaguars. James Robinson had 2 catches for 14 yards. Etienne had 3 catches for 33 yards. And then in week 3 against the Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 5 catches for 39 yards. And in week 4, Derrick Henry had 3 catches for 33 yards. And Burks had 2 catches for 14 yards. That's 5 running backs who have gone over 11.5 reception yards. Obviously, Melvin Gordon doesn't get a lot of receiving yards, but he has gone over this line twice this season out of 4 games. So he's 2-2 to this number. And both times he's had 2 catches. He's cleared this number. He averages 6 yards per catch. I think he'll have a little more than that, given that the Colts have been giving up a lot of passing yards. And I do love the small number. You should be sweating the entire game, or the first play can break out and you win pretty sweat-free. That's my lean right now. I'm figuring out what I like in the game. I don't know if I like anything officially yet, but it won't come out until tomorrow morning. I'll have the same game parlay nonetheless, maybe another official play, but for now, this is just where I'm leaning.
I have to say I like that play. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Williams is out.
Yeah.
And he's the main back at this point. Who's their third string?
So they just signed Latavius Murray from the Saints practice squad, who put him in when Kamara was hurt last week in London.
Yeah. A little bit of a bigger back, not something that would be.
And it's someone who's got first time with the playbook. Melvin Gordon's probably going to get the brunt of the carry still and brunt of the action. Yeah. Should maybe get some play action, maybe some screens. Who knows? But I'm seeing a lot of running backs with 3 catches, 5 catches, and 30-plus yards. That's enough for me to take Melvin Gordon here.
Well, you just explained. I mean, they have one of the worst pass defenses, and one of the best, rushing defenses. So maybe they do small screens out, bubble screens or running back screens or something like that to try to help get the running game going as far as that's concerned. So it plays into that narrative as well. I mean, I like the number really. 11.5 that's 1, maybe 2 catches.
He averages 6 yards a catch. So yeah. Oh, get this another angle. He's 2-2 to this number. Both times he got it. Both primetime games. 2-0 on primetime. Feed big
for 11.5.
What?
For the 11.5 or
14 and 29. Yep.
You can't not take it now.
I know.
Take the lean off, bro.
My prop.
Take the lean off.
It's my prop.
Lean back. All right, guys. Is there anything else we got for today?
That's basically
a weird ass episode.
We do have some guests coming
up
for next week.
Yeah, we do have guests coming next week. So we're in talks with a couple different people. One is a crustacean. The other is just
confirmed.
A white guy.
He just confirmed.
Okay, go ahead and announce it then.
Do you want crabs? Absolutely.
No. It's going to be an interesting person to come on. A lot of people like him. A lot of people don't. He's controversial, you could say, for his betting style of underdogs.
Contrarian. Yeah,
contrarian
is the word. I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah, 100%.
I'm excited. Crabs, I've been wanting to get you on for a while. And out of my pants. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. NHL season's coming up, guys.
Listen.
Be aware of that. Maddie's excited. I can't believe he didn't bring it up. NBA season's coming up as well. There's so much to talk about. We're probably going to be live streaming games in the near future, trying to do some squad rides where Matt's been watching me watch this game, and it's just a simple game. I have 1 unit on for UCF on a Wednesday. It's clip worthy. I would say that it is
clip worthy.
It's cringe worthy looking back and like, oh my God, I react like that. I want to know what kind of better you guys are. So there's multiple different styles. I'm a clapper. Number one, I clap a lot. Okay, when I'm reacting to plays,
I
and
just
I'm
said the wrong
also
disease.
a gritter slash like scream and then like grind my teeth.
Are we
Basically,
talking about watching games still?
watching games. Everybody has a style. Matt, what's your style of sweating out a game? What are you doing? You biting your fingers?
No, it's definitely the pick my nails as it gets a little too crazy, and then it's if it's on my big TV, it's the pace. It's the pace in front of the
Okay, you're a
TV.
pacer.
Gentle
You're a pacer.
pace. I do want to
you
say
get quiet. You get quiet and reserved. Okay.
I do want to say the joke real quick. Not a joke. Guys, Nick, I'm calling you out here. When Nick came up to visit last time, we went to a buffet. All right. It was $5 buffet, and Nick had a lot to eat, as did we all. And
we didn't go to a $5 buffet.
It was fantastic. And then Nick texted me the next morning. He's like, dude, I got crabs. And I was like, yeah, dude. It's $5. What'd you expect? Lobster? Sorry. Crabs is coming on next week.
That's so dumb. Guys, let us know what kind of better you are. I want to know. There's got to be a number of different styles out there. Like I said, thank you again for joining us. We will see you.
Is that a different
on Saturday? Another touchdown. Let's go up huge. UCF.
We will see you. All right.
On Saturday.
We'll see you guys later. Stay tuned. Comment what kind of better you are. I want to see the weirdest superstitions you have in the comments. If you haven't liked, subscribed, retweeted, whatever you're doing on your freaking phone or your laptop, do it right now.